Hello, IK here. postsSlice. Welcome to postsSlice. postsSlice is file configuration of reducer configuration of reducer. All about all what we see in postsSlice is about reducer. Because of that, we have import, create slice, and create asynchron tank. Both is import from Redux toolkit. Redux toolkit, and it is newest version of Redux.js toolkit. It means that all on this file, what would be created by create slice and create asynchron tank. A result of that create slice and create asynchron tank is all about reducer. Okay, what it is. At first, reducer must have output, must have a state, initial state. In initial rendering of component, that reducer must be ready. Reducer must be real in memory, created before render any component. And in reducer must be output state, because component what is subscribed to global state is state output of a reducer. In initial rendering, they must would be received own variable with a value from global state. It would for that we use a selector. Use a selector is hook what connect global state with the local state. And because of that, reducer must be created before any rendering, and it is created. Little repeat, refresh our memory. Index.js, look at here is provider is element who connect Redux and React, and properties store equal real file store, configuration file of store, real object store. And execution of provider means execution of store means execution of that store. And what it means? It means that app store, this file, configuration file of store, look at constant store, is in memory ready for a runtime of our JavaScript application. Constant store exists and was configured before any component would be rendering. It is visible here, index.js. Look at before wrap provider wrap app or app.js component, our fundamental React component. is wrapped by provider. And that wrapped React element provider, there is a props store and would be, that props would be execute and would be created in memory, would be created store, and the store create a reducer. Inside store, we have a reducer. Again, we can see, but here it is visible that before rendering up, we have rendering provider provider element, React element, and here in it is indexed. Here is a store, and store. Look at import post reducer, plural post reducer from postsSlice. Import, and here is object store configured. Configure store what was imported from Redux toolkit. It is newest version of new Redux toolkit. Configure store function, configure store, object store, with only one reducer, reducer named reducer with one properties post, it is state post, and the value of that state is post reducer, would be changed in post, existent change in post reducer. And now after this configuration, start rendering up fundamental component of React, and inside of fundamental we have app.js, we have add post form component and post list component, and start rendering of component. Post list component is subscribe to global state. It means post list component will create a local state by connection, by use selector hook, who connected local state of post list with the global state, and any changes in global state would be impact and would be changed local state in post list. Add post form don't need local global state, and there is only local state input and content. That local state we change from empty to some value, and we submit, send it to mock server, and send it to process what we explained in previous video, and I hope in the future also. Okay, but we go back to topic of our video. It is postsSlice. PostSlice. I eliminate this part of this pane of window that we have only better visibility. Okay, here we are. Redux must have state, initial state. Cannot go without initial state. And here it is, initial state. And now we see what is a state in our situation. It is object. It is inside curly brackets. We have object. Object, there is a three properties: post, array, status, idle, value is idle now, and error is null. Status idle is a string inside of quote as every string, but null is not string. It is keyword of JavaScript, and don't go inside of quote. array, here is empty array. Post is empty array. And when we go down, when we start export constant postsSlice, where we create, declare object postsSlice, we declare a reducer. And who declare, what we assign we assign function createSlice, or better say, createSlice, function createSlice, return object postsSlice. Here in this situation about postsSlice, a name of global state is posts, and slice is a common name for every reducer. A lot of reducer can be in one store because of that name slice. One slice, one state. Many slice can be in a reducer of store. Reducer. There is one reducer common for all reducer, and all other reducer what we have go in that reducer. And slice, every state is a slice of that common reducer, and that slice is reducer, but it is only one of reducer in possibility in a common store reducer. There is two reducer. One reducer, mother and father, parents of all other reducer. Can be more reducer, and because of that we call it here slice, postsSlice. We have only one slice, only one reducer in that store reducer, and named it post. And all what we see here in curly brackets, all is declarative programming. It means that we write something like formula, like some official document where we must write our name, surname, born day, place of, etc., etc. It is also here. About that state reducer, our post reducer, here we must say name. Here it is. It means that our reducer name is posts, plural, post, name post. That creates slice is in curly brackets. It means that postsSlice is object. Reducer is function concretely, but here postsSlice is all about reducer. All about reducer. It means object. postsSlice, we create postsSlice object, and createSlice will create that postsSlice. createSlice, we assign createSlice our declaration of postsSlice. We can set value of postsSlice is createSlice and all other what would be created. createSlice and parameter of createSlice. Or we can set createSlice, return object postsSlice. Okay, at first we have a name script like this. It is properties of postsSlice object. It is properties name value posts. It is string quote around. Initial state we must write initial state, and it is variable what is visible up, what we created up here. Initial state. We declare initial state equal object post status error is properties and value of that. Very clear. It is initial state, and the name here is not visible name, but here in postsSlice we must write name, and we write posts plural, and it means object exist object post. It is a name of that state, and look at here. This is post reducer. And now we spoke about initial state. That initial state, our initial state, name is post. And it go to input and go output. And this moment, it is on input and output is initial state. Initial state, it is object. Object with properties post array status error. Here it is, posts. It is object post. Initial state we know. What then? Reducer. Reducer, synchronized reducer, we have no one. Empty object, no one. But asynchron reducer we have. And we call it extra reducer. Extra reducers to differentiate reducers and extra reducers. Reducers is synchronized. Don't need asynchron process. Extra reducer is need asynchron process, and it is only difference. All other is same. But all functionality, reducer, extra reducer is same. But here we need extra. We call it extra reducer, and parameter of that extra reducers. Here there is a builder object. Builder object, and in body of this function extra reducers, we have object builder and the method add case. Object builder, there is a method add case, and we will be back later. Okay, we can say now. Add case is a method of builder, and the parameter of add case method. We have here fetch post pending. Fetch post is a name of tank function. Dot pending, it means together it is a type of action. And here, look at like this. We will see that fetch post slash pending, we will see it in Redux toolkit in our browser. Here is an open pane with the F12, with the F12, open this pane of Windows, where is a console, and here is Redux. Redux, here is a Redux, and here we can see what interests us about state action or about Redux. But Here is interesting. We see initial rendering, initial not rendering, initial configuration file, initial instance of store init. It is init, initial, and the post here, that initial instance of store of reducer. There is a state, initial state, post empty array, status is idle, error null. It is init. It happened before any rendering of component. But here in Redux, we don't look at about component, about rendering component. We look at only about Redux. And init means initial instantiation of Redux, Redux store, and reducer. It was in index provider props store. Happen all that. And after that, after the initial, we have fetch post list. We must see post list, and without our will, use effect. At first, we have initial rendering of add form. After that, post list, and when post list finished, we finished up rendering. It means we start with up rendering. But child must be first rendered. Before of that, I now speak about component, but look at in Redux. But here, this rendering is visible here. It means that it first rendered up. It is visible here. Index.js. Here it is. Look at root is a React application. Render is method of the root, and here is explicit root render. And in the parameter we have provider and we have app. It would be rendered provider, would be, and by store we will would be install initial store and reducer. Reducer will have initial state, and after that start rendering component app, fundamental component, but that component, there is a two child. Rendering of app start, when coming to child add post form, render it that child. After that, coming to list provider, list post, here it is, app, post list, and render it post list. Add post form, there is only initial rendering, because don't need global state, there is an open local state, render it and finished. Input and content form and finished. And would be visible on the screen, on user interface. But post list is component what is subscribed to global state post. And initial post list will find in initial rendering, will receive by use selector, will receive initial state. It means post empty array, status idle, and error null. It is initial state from global state. But after that, it is happen event component was mounted, activate use effect, use effect call arrow function call dispatch fetch post. And dispatch fetch post dispatch pending type action and fulfilled type action. And all my story is circle for this moment. Pending type action, fulfilled type action. Back to here, Redux. Here is post. Is a look at fetch post / pending. It is type of action. Type of action. Init also type of action, but I spoke about it. And we can see when we click on init, we see initial state. Initial state must be here. Here it is. Post status error pin, and the post is empty. Look at empty array. But fetch post type of action, fetch post pending. It is type of action, what said the reducer, what to do with the action. But in that fetch post pending is only changes is status loading, because it is waiting for action payload. It is waiting for a response data from mock server. Waiting, and it is never in that phase has never payload, and have only what have is input state. And here that changes only pending. Here is the pending, only status loading, and we can see that in user interface. We can create our user interface that see that if status loading, we can see what we want, animation or something else. And error stay null like before, post is like in init, initial. And the tank function, dispatch pending type. After that, if all is okay, fulfilled type. And fulfilled type, we have a post. Look at it is post is full of post singular, full of posts. Array post is full of post from server, and it coming to browser. Promise object return it to add case to reducer, and we will continue. In any case, we will continue now. Stop here. Status is succeeded, error null, but this is important. Post fetch post pending, post fetch post fulfilled, because we can have a comment fetch comment pending, comment fetch comment fulfilled, etc. Because of that, these three strings, post fetch post pending, post fetch post fulfilled, is all about here about post state. Post state is object, post state is object, and we see that post state here with three properties. But what is I will talk this story a lot of time. I was and I will, I hope, because it's very, very interesting. Uh, but the key moment here is, look at action type is post, fetch, post, pending, slash, slash. And here also post, fetch, post, fulfill. Who write it? Who write it? Where we coded it? Where we coded it? Back, let's go back to our postsSlice. PostSlice. Look at here we have fetch post dot pending. That syntax means fetch post. It is written as tank function, and fetch post the tank function, but here it is object fetch post dot pending. Pending is properties of fetch post. We know function is object, object is function. It means that fetch post, it is concretely our fetch post from above. There is properties pending, but it is not syntax what we see here. We see here slash, no dot, no object and properties, but we see slash, slash, and post, fetch post pending, post, fetch post fulfilled. It is, we don't, there is a no exist fetch post, post, fetch post pending in one place together, slash, slash, post, slash, fetch post, slash pending. There is not exist. Here it is fetch post dot pending. Let's get, see, fetch post, fetch post. Fetch post is tank function. Here it is, fetch post. And that fetch post would be created by create asynchron tank function from Redux toolkit. And that create asynchron tank, there is a string, there is a parameter, string post slash fetch post. And here we see part of post slash fetch post. We see part of post fetch post slash fetch post. Okay, we see that post fetch post. It is. It seems like a base for all type of action base, and only would be attached slash pending slash fulfilled or slash rejected. Post fetch post, here it is. Let's get down. But here we have dot pending. We have not slash, but if we have slash here, we have not here post. It means that somebody instead of us is write post slash fetch post pending. And it is important for declarative programming. We don't have a code here. What we have in other place, concretely in browser, in Redux toolkit in browser. Oh, and we must ask ourselves what happened, who write it, and what is I must memorize how to script, but don't understand it. Memorize only by memorization. And no, you have not memorized if you understand declarative programming. It means, okay, what we must understand? We must understand what happened and to know, take in head always that somebody coding behind of this hub, in the background somebody coding for us. But we must know that tank function dispatch action type pending after that action type fulfilled. All other tank function also dispatched as first action type pending after that action type fulfilled if all is okay. Fetch post tank is read in CRUD. It is read. Add new post tank is create. Update post is for edit post, and delete post, it is tank for delete post. Again, complete confusion was in my head when I saw it at first time. It was 1 or 2 years ago. And I must say that in the last some years, what I work in React, artificial intelligence coming as something what I every day ask myself, what I every day wanted to have, what I every day wanted to have people where I can ask my question, a lot of where I can ask, and it was Stack Overflow. It was a place, excellent place. But last year I never been in Stack Overflow because I asked artificial intelligence, and I'm very satisfied with that information from artificial intelligence, concretely ChatGPT. Very satisfied. It is ChatGPT was and is for me like somebody who know all. And I ask, the artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, is a little we have in Croatian is little nerds, and there is a sentence what repeat, but what is total more confused. And when we now in postsSlice, the more confusion what we can receive from artificial, if you spoke about tank and about creators, action creators, tank and action creator. But principle and main explanation, artificial intelligence, and the other part, a lot of internet, and original documentation all spoke about action creator, and action creator a function. And we confuse, does tank, concretely fetch post, dispatch action creator, or tank dispatch action, and artificial intelligence, and every post will say the tank is action creators. Tank function tank dispatch action creator. Tank is something very interesting. Is then the tank is action creator, and tank return function instead of tank return function instead of object. But what function? What object? Object is clear. Action object is type of action and action payload. Type of action, action payload. Two properties. But you never see it right somewhere in postsSlice. But you see fragment of that, like here, fetch post dot pending, and in browser you see fetch post slash pending. Also about action object. You don't see in any place write the action equal curly brackets, and inside that properties type columns value, and value would be this fetch post slash pending, and the payload column and value. You will not see, and in the end of the lot of times speaking with artificial, you conclude that in all that code, about reducer, all the time we are in reducer, all the time we talk, a lot of talk about this, because declarative programming, nothing talk, nothing say us, only write it here, write it here, write it here, and all would be okay. And theory said declarative programming is when you code only target what you want, and don't care about how. You write what you want, don't care, and you don't need, don't care. It is not your worry about path, about how realize it. And how it is possible for me, who program in PHP, MySQL, all that, who program in procedural, Visual Basic, in procedural, after that object-oriented, and vanilla JavaScript. Now in this declarative JavaScript program language, in declarative paradigm, I must write only what I want. But that also there is a rule. And the rule is that there is no rule. You must, rule is fill this formula. Here, write what is initial state. Here write name of post. Initial state, we know all about state, that there is three properties. But here is we didn't declare posts, constant post. We declare variable initial state. But here we said we said we said post, name post, and it is enough that our application, our Redux, React, they know all. They know what to do, and it is our our target is reducer with all what needs that reducer. But look at how. And okay, it is declarative, and it is some rule that okay, if you need postsSlice of comment, you copy this postsSlice, and only again change here name would be comments, and it would be array of full of comments, but initial state would be also comments, status of comments, and error of comments. And again, here is initial state. It is properties, and reducer, we said it is regular, and extra reducer, builder, and look at extra reducer. Okay, we know story about reducer is synchronized, extra reducer is asynchronous, but extra reducer there is object builder. We don't know nothing about that. We know here, okay, builder object, there is add case method, a lot of add case, how we need. And add case method we need for fetch pending. It is fetch space post here like this, it is object, and pending is properties. It is not some surprise that fetch post tank function is object. Function is object, object is function, it is normal. Okay, but this is a rule. We must write like this. We must write like this. And it seems at first like nerds write coding, but did not know what is before of this, what is after this. No, nothing. Fetch dot pending. All would be all right for us. But again, I said, if we know story, if we know that we like it, I like very this declarative, because understand and not problems, less coding, less coding. This reducer, there is a lot of function, object, action creators, etc., 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 etc. And okay, I remember now. Here, somewhere, we have action creator. Action is object, and that object have two properties: string, action type, and payload. Payload is what coming from a mock server. Pardon, not what coming from mock server, but what coming in response data from a mock server, in response data, because action start from us, and fetch post is don't start from our action, but start from action of React component was mount. But all other, add a new post, it is from us, our interaction, it is action, add new post. Update post, it is our action, where to update. We want to update, and we click button update, we feel we updated title and content, etc. And delete, and all that is action from us, and it is interesting that except fetch post, all other action, add new post, update, and delete, coming back what we send, coming back what we send. We send request to server, server update, and server response data. That same data what we send, and after that we must write what to do with that response data, and here it is. That response data is about post array, about status, and new value, maybe new value for status, new value for error, maybe, and new value for or possibility of new value of array post. It is not complete new value. It is action payload. What would be involved in changes state, because actual state involved with in some relation with payload would create new state, would create a new state. And in that whole story, what is action creator? In that whole story, when we read the sentence, thank return function instead of object, and somebody always repeat it, thank return function, and you will return function instead of object, and you read some next sentence will say thank dispatch action, but you said thank return function instead object, and when you said thank dispatch action, it means object, action object, and understand this complete code in postsSlice and understand declarative programming, we must understand story. And with a little practice, we will remember, and we don't need remember, we can copy postsSlice and change data for comment slice. But we understand story. All in extra reducer, I see reducer here. State is input because in pending type action, there is no action. It is awaiting. Action is only payload. It is what coming in response data. But in pending, there is nothing in pardon. There is response data in pending, only status change in loading. Was idle, change in loading. But here is important that status and error is only because of user interface that we can in if construction show in user interface what happened, and it is because of Redux global state. Redux is a hard manager of state and must know what happened with asynchron process. Redux cannot read asynchronous process, and because of that, only synchronize. And because of that, authors created middleware. I somewhere read that middleware there is 53 statements, and in that middleware is tank function, and in that middleware is all about a store, about a reducer in that middleware. And in that middleware is all that story about action creator. Action creator. Tank function, dispatch. There is a possibility to dispatch action type pending, and after that action type fulfilled or rejected. It must be function with function, because if tank dispatch object, it is finished of story. But if tank fetch post, dispatch action type pending, and waiting until happen fulfilled, and until come back response data, it must be function. Only function can waiting for event pending, waiting for event fulfilled, and one fetch post tank send dispatch to reducer to action type, pending type action, and fulfilled type action. And because of that, here we spoke about creators, function creators, tank and function creators. But function creators, function creators create action, and because of that, this add case. Here is a action type pending, and the action creator. Here is a function. There is only input state, and in curly brackets state dot status change to loading. We script it, code it, but when fulfilled, then fetch post, but it is in one order, in one send to dispatch to action, pending type and fulfilled. And here is fulfilled. Again, fetch was fulfilled. From that we know type would be created type. But here now we have action because fulfilled coming from mock server or coming response data. Coming response data, there is a payload. It is complete full of post, our state post. And the properties post now would be concat to existing post. To existing post. Here is existing post. State.post equal state.post concat action payload. Here post is empty, and when we concat full of post array full of post with empty post, result would be full of post, and we will see on the screen all posts. What is it? It is reducer, input state and action. And, in curly brackets, we have expression what to do, with payload. In every other situation, if reject, we have state and action input, and here we write what happened with status, what happened with error. Here, add new post tank, pending type, only state. Always in pending type is only state input, because there is no action, there is no payload. Payload is something about post, something only about properties post, not object post, properties post. And now is moment to show this. What is post? Post is object. It is state, it is object with properties post array, status and status string and error null keyword. But initial state, empty array, idle, and keyword null. But action is a type of action, string, that is one properties. Another is payload, action dot payload. Payload is properties. What it is title content, it is ID title content, it is array with object like members. Every object is one post. It is action payload. Always it is action payload. It means that action here, at first, we see it is not compatible that object post with post array status and error can have interaction with action object who have two properties. One is post type, another is payload. And it is, and with little practice and learning and talking with artificial intelligence and now listening my video, what happened? Post action here in input, we have changed, we can change array, we connect, cooperate, intervene between array post. It is always about array post, not about object post, but is between array post. And what about status and error? Status and error happen in middleware. Middleware, we write what is a status and we write error, but it is not important how it does it how it go. It don't go through post reducer or can go through post reducer. It is not important, but always output post is object. Post array status error. Input also is object. It is theory, but how it is happened, how action payload interact with object post, interact only with array post, And on the screen, we only see array post, but thanks to status, we see loading. Thanks to error, we would see error. It's okay. But what interesting for us is a list of posts. Here is, we can write a new post and see list of posts. Okay. All what I talk here is about confusion. confusion. From that confusion, I go out with a lot of spoke with artificial intelligence instead of people, because you have no people what to do, what does what you does in same moment. Stack Overflow is something excellent was, and Google search at first and always was, but Stack Overflow is was excellent because coming very fast, coming response. A lot of us was ask and respond coming fast, but not always, and sometimes never. Here, ChatGPT spoke with you very clear, but you must be you are clear. He's automat and repeat like papiga sometimes if you don't drill that said what you also thinking and what you expect. Okay, the short repeating. PostSlice is all about reducer. PostSlice resolve and PostSlice how to go to our goal is resolved in middleware. Code in middleware means post reducer, input state, action, output state, all that what we only short coding give in PostSlice all together create story what happened in the middleware and tank function. This moment, I believe that tank function dispatch action, and but not action creator. Dispatch action, but action creator must be here in our code in middleware because action of tank send pending type action and waiting and understand when coming fulfilled. It is only possible by function. Cannot tank function send to action without without help of other function. It is like you want that some happen, that some function does work after some time. We need a timer action, timer function and timer function. Action start timer, and after some time start other function. This is a lot of function, and same is here. Why we need pending type action and fulfilled action or rejected? We need it because of Redux, because information to Redux, information to global state in store, and we can code status, we can use it in our user interface and show what happened. What Redux know, we know for show to user interface. And Redux don't understand asynchronous process. And because of that, need middleware and tank function and action creators. And here in our application, it is asynchronous request from a mock server, but can be uh, can be any others side effect. What we need, any other side effect in Redux, in our global state by Redux, we can use middleware. We can use middleware. Uh, okay. It is a source of my confusion was declarative paradigm. Uh, it is a source, but the end of my confusion was my learning all around by it, but definitely artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, who shorted the times to shorted times to me be confident in React knowledge and be ready to write a book like a summary of all what I spoke in video, and I'm happy about that because talking there is some advances in front of writing for both sides, teachers and listener. But also book there is some advances in front of video. Books can be concise, and in video, I repeat, a lot of video there is about postsSlice. I repeat my video, and you listen what you want to listen. But in book, I write one times, but you repeat it a lot of times if you need. You can always go back in books by contents, by note. You can go to part of books what explains some. You can go back to that. But in video, in a lot of video, in 1,000 video, it is very difficult to search through that video and go back, listen, and look at in content of that video. Always is complicated, but in books it is excellent. Don't need electricity, don't need notebook, book computers. You can open book and in a second find what you need, find and repeat it, repeat and repeat. Again, in video, I repeat video, I repeat talking in a lot of video, but you listen one, maybe only one, and if it is enough for you, we don't listen more. Video is consume time for you. Because of that, I see that you look at a video like jump. In some jump in a few seconds, you see all video and find what you need for more, listen, etc. But for teachers, for me, video is very interesting for explanation, how to explain in words, talking, explain, and not how you write in books, right? explanation is something different of writing. Uh, is explanation is connected with interaction. For explanation must be interaction, but I have interaction when you said like, when you subscribe, when you talk about this and talk friends, and coming friends, coming new subscriber, new likes, all that is interaction. And if coming comment, excellent, excellent. Your engagement is interaction with me and other listener and viewer. Okay, thank you for watching this video.